Well, Freak Nation, Brittany Force back with the Freaks at Lucas Oil Studios. And a Force has been coming in the Freak Nation over the last 25 years, many times over the year, whether it's her dad, her sister, or her sisters. Brittany Force again here in the Freak Nation. Brittany, with the announcement of you leaving this series, at least temporarily, to start a family, when did these thoughts start to go through your head that, man, I've got to make this decision and I've got to put it out there?
It's something that was always in the back of my mind. I mean, I remember when I got into the seat in 2013, it was always in the back of my mind coming into, NHRA drag racing. There's, being a female, that's one of the difficult things about it. A man could continue to race and start a family. It's much different for a female. And I watched both my sisters. I watched Ashley get out of the seat, finish the season, stepped out of the seat at the end of the season to start a family. I watched Courtney do the same thing. Ashley has 2 little boys. Courtney has 2 little girls, and she has a 3rd one on the way. So it was always kind of in the back of my mind, but I was never in a position where I wasn't even, thinking about family. I was strictly focused on career and driving, and that's where I was at. And it wasn't until recently I got married last year that it really, it started to sink in a little bit heavier than before. And, it's been on my mind. Since I started dating my husband. But, going through last season, it was actually, I think we spoke was it Phoenix beginning of this year? We had a conversation about it. Do you remember? Was it last season? I think it was beginning of this season. We had a conversation about it.
It all runs together.
Yep.
Yeah. So I had a feeling that I knew that we were going to connect at some point because we did have a conversation about, being a female in the sport and pregnancy and that announcement NHRA made about rule changes with female drivers. So anyways, back to what I was saying, I completely lost my train of thought now. I don't remember where I was going.
Hey, that's totally normal. But yes, this is just the evolution of people. This is what we do in life. And it just so happens that racing happens to be a business where that's not as friendly, so to speak. Yeah. You can't necessarily do your job and carry a child. But let's just be perfectly honest. Is it not the most annoying thing in the world, just you and me talking right now, for people to say, oh, you're married now. Aren't you going to have a kid? If you have a kid, are you going to step out of the car? Oh, my gosh. How much did that annoy you, to be perfectly honest?
Definitely heard it for really all this season and all last season. It was one of the biggest things. I'd see it on social media, both negative and positive comments in regards to it. But also comparing to my sisters, when I got engaged, that's when the rumor started. Oh, she's going to get out of the seat like her sisters, almost putting it in a bad light, like getting out of the seat to start a family. Like, what about your racing career? But actually, since I made the announcement in Reading just last weekend, I did have that concern in the back of my mind, how people were going to react. And actually, the fans out there, so supportive. It was so awesome to see. A lot of them came up to me and were thanking me for 13 years, being able to follow along my journey and watch my career and thanked me for that. So that kind of just blew my mind. It was really amazing to see that. But like I said to you when we spoke in Phoenix early in the year, I firmly believe you dedicate me as a driver in the seat. I'm going to dedicate everything, put all my focus into either that car, that team, and driving and trying to win a championship, or I will remove myself and put my focus on something else. I don't think there's a place for both in one space.
It is Ida smoking the tires early. It is Brittany Force, 343.51. 343.51, the fastest speed in the history of drag racing.
But Brittany, you go out and set all these freaking track records. You're going bananas speed at ET, and then all of a sudden we get this news. It's like, bam, bam, slingshot. But I get it.
I wanted to, my sisters both made their announcements after the season, at the end of their season. And one of my sisters, her hands were tied through sponsor reasons. She wasn't allowed to say anything, or, they made the announcement. And I wanted to do it differently. I'd been speaking to my sponsors, all season long. Even end of last season, I was already having conversations with, my crew chief, my team, my sponsors. They already were in on it. They already knew what was going on. But I didn't want to go through the whole season and make the announcement then. I know so many people have done it that way, but I wanted at least to do it at some point before the season ended to, give fans a chance if they, debated coming to race. Maybe it might change their mind, and I don't know. I just wanted it out there for the fans as quickly as we could get it, and that was as quickly as we could get it done. That just happened to be ready in the very start of the countdown, and that's where it lined up. That's how it fell into place, and I was happy with it. I was happy to make that announcement and get that weight off my shoulders so I get back to put my focus where it needs to be, and that's driving. So I was happy to get that off my shoulders.
That is specifically where I wanted to go with you. How much of this has been a weight on your shoulders? And you are so good at compartmentalizing things that I don't think it affected your racing whatsoever. Like Kenny just alluded to, the records and everything you've been setting this year. But just overall, not having to worry about that burden anymore. That has to be huge. And great timing. Now it's the playoffs.
Yes, exactly. It did feel good to get it out, because again, I've had so many people, calling me, asking me what my plan was for next season, if a seat position is opening, fans. I just had so many people asking me about it, and it's like trying to, I wasn't 100% sure yet in the beginning of the season when people were asking, and so when it all kind of came into play, it did feel good just to finally say it, get it off my back, and then start focusing on back in the car.
Who was giving you some of the best advice on how to handle these sorts of stresses? Was it one of your sisters? Was it Leah Pruitt? Was it somebody else that maybe would surprise us?
Really, it was just, working with people under the John Force Racing umbrella, working with my crew chiefs and my team who were 100% supportive. I know that over the last few years, JFR's definitely gone through some transitional phases, and we've had ups and downs. We decided in 2020 to step back and not finish the season, with my dad stepping out of the seat, Jack Beckman stepping in. So we've done a lot of transitions over the years, and everyone at JFR has stood by and supported John Force Racing. So I'm very lucky to have that support, but really it's everyone in JFR, including my family, my husband, my sisters, yes, but having my team and my sponsors being able to tell me, like, this is so awesome, we're excited for you, we fully support you. There's no better feeling than that.
Brittany Force joining us here in the Freak Nation, of course, flying the colors of John Force Racing. And Brittany, whether it's Laura, your mother, or your dad, John, can you pull the curtain back a little bit and share with us? I don't need to go real deep, but what were the conversations you were having with those two who have been involved in drag racing for 5+ decades now?
My mom is just very quiet. She doesn't say very much. She's just, whatever you want to do, I'm there, whatever you want to do. And she doesn't say very much. Now, my dad is the opposite. He shares too much information. It depends on what day you get him on. If, again, it's up and down with him. That's always how he's been. And one day it's, are you sure this is the right decision? Look what you just did on you just set another track record. You did this. You're great. Keep driving. I love you in the seat. And then the next day it's, the sport is dangerous, and I understand you getting out, and I love the grandbabies. He has a ton of grandkids, and he loves his time with his grandkids. So then he's on that side, but he's just back and forth. Either way, he supports me. He's happy for the decision I've made.
You may not be able to comment on this, speaking of, but what's the future of John Force Racing once there is not a force involved with John Force Racing?
Right now, our focus, this David Grubnick, John Collins run team, I know that there's still so much out there. I plan to fully support them. I love that team, and I want to see them continue to succeed, whether it's me in the seat, whether someone else is in the seat, whatever it is. And right now we're working on keeping that team under the John Force Racing umbrella. Again, that's an announcement for further down the road. We're not there yet. As for me, I'm not closing the door on driving. It's something that I'll have to it's a decision I'll have to make further down the road once I get there. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I'm not closing that door to driving, and I still plan to fully, be out at the drag races. I love it. I've grown up out here. This is, the life. I love drag racing. It's been my life since before I was born. So I'll definitely be out here. As for what role, again, still trying to work things out, and that'll be later down the road once we get there.
13 years of Brittany, baby. Some Taylor Swift fans are going to have a field day. She did it with Taylor Swift's number.
Oh, no.
She's number lucky 13.
Yes. Courtney ran the Taylor Swift car.
Right.
There you. Oh, yeah. That's right. See, all these tie-ins now.
Well,
and actually, it was.
Go ahead.
It's one of my favorite cars. It was the Taylor Swift album on the side of her funny car. It sits in our Yorba Linda, California shop right in the front entryway. It's one of the most beautiful cars. And the great thing about, well, not great, but she got sideways on the run. And my dad was like, it was spectacular. The car turned sideways. She got it back in lane, got it down there. No incident, didn't crash, nothing, but you could see Taylor Swift all the way down the racetrack. You weren't meant to from the starting line, but you did.